Hey guys, Kinda Funny is having a holiday sale. That's right. If you go to kindafunny.com/store for the next week, from Black Friday until the next Friday, you can get 10% off everything in the entire store. That's all the beautiful shirts that you know and love. That's the cups, the mugs, the stickers, all of that stuff is there. And the Let Tim Host shirts there for this week only. You need that. You need that in your life. Oh, are these all the T-Shirt Tuesday shirts that we exclusively had only on those Tuesdays? Yeah, they're back for 1 week only. All of them in one place. Buy them for you. Buy them for your sister, your friend, your neighbor, whoever you want to buy them for, even people you don't know. It's going to be great. 10% off. Kindafunny.com/store. This episode is brought to you by Loot Crate. Would you classify yourself as a geek, gamer, or pop culture nerd? Then this is the subscription box for you. For less than $20 a month, you get 6 to 8 items of gamer and pop culture licensed gear, apparel, collectibles, unique one-of-a-kind items, and more. Make sure to head to lootcrate.com/KFGames and enter code KFGames to save $3 on any new subscription. Not that long ago, and depending on where you live, not so far away, Loot Crate blasted off into a voyage across the galaxy, searching the far reaches of space to find universally awesome gear. Using December's Star Wars The Force Awakens loot as the launch pad, we landed on some equally cosmic items from Halo 5 and more. With an exclusive Funko Pop and an exclusive shirt in this month's crate, this is the loot you're looking for. Remember, you only have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate, and when the cutoff happens, that's it. It's over. So go to lootcrate.com/KFGames and enter code KFGames to save $3 on your new subscription today. So Chris, you wrote a book.
I wrote a book.
What's it called?
It's called The Gamer's Bucket List.
Where can people
50
get
video games to play before you die. Get it on Amazon at the link. Right
It's in
here
the description.
that Greg is gesturing to.
Or you just go to Amazon, you
right
search.
It's there
The
on
Gamer's
Amazon
Bucket
too. Yeah, it's in my Twitter profile as well, CT Waters. You can find the link there. It's a list book.
Good.
It's like,
I love, there's two things I love. Lists and video games, not books. I was about to put books in there.
This is 2 out of 3 though.
Yeah, so we're good.
Maybe
We're good.
open your eyes to some book
Some books.
situation.
This one I will. It's a list.
Yeah, so basically I got this opportunity to write this book through a publisher, and they were like, yeah, you're just going to have to pick 50 video games from all video games ever and make your list based on sort of what parameters you wanted to.
Did you say no problem, then hang up and go, oh, that's a huge problem?
Like, oh my God. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we've all written lists in our time.
Once or twice.
And so the key is to you have to set your parameters. Like, what am I going to put in this book? So
Gotcha.
the stuff that I wanted to put in was, I wanted to write it in a way that, you guys would read it and you'd read about Red Dead Redemption. And even though you've played that game, you've read so much about it, you'd read it and be like, yeah, that game was really awesome.
Yeah.
But then also you pass it to your mom when you're home for Thanksgiving and she's like, it's a cowboy game. She reads but she reads 300 words about it and she kind of understands the experience. I steered away from jargony terms. I didn't mention the word roguelike when I wrote about Spelunky. I wanted this to be super accessible because that's kind of the niche that it is. It's $12. Barnes and Noble's gonna it's the kind of thing that I imagine is put by a register and people are just
Oh, sure. My
packing
kid
this
likes
in.
video games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's that broad. It's a broad appeal kind of book. It's not a history lesson per se. It's not a sort of here are the most significant games in history. And if there's a significantly awesome game and then the sequel is a little bit more awesome, I'll choose the sequel. So
Uncharted 3 confirmed in the book.
No,
it's Uncharted 2.
Damn it!
One of the restrictions I put in there for myself, for my sanity, was about online connectivity. Because I wanted people to be able to, I wanted it to be somewhat future-proof. Obviously, any list book is kind of, immediately outdated in video game world, more or less. But, if the primary way that a game excels is online, I left it out. So, no MMOs, no, Call of Duty and Battlefield are, even though they have some campaigns, primarily, my enjoyment of those games has come from the online shooting multiplayer competition. So I left them off the list. But even still, it was hard to narrow it down.
Yeah. So what were the parameters you set up other than online stuff?
I just sat down and was what, if I was going to talk with someone about the greatest games, what would I start with? And that was another thing, taking ownership of I'm the author of this book. These are all my opinions.
Yeah. There's no committee to vet this against.
Yeah. I am obsessed with Rocket League and have been since launch. I'm going to put Rocket League in there because I also feel I can back that as one of the greatest sports games ever created. And so just sort of brainstorming, coming up with, a lot of them are really popular titles, but then there's some other ones that sort of, go a little bit in different directions. I put Her Story in there because I think that that's such a a fascinating way to like feel investigative. Like there's a lot of investigation in games, but like if you're putting on detective mode and just looking for the highlighted thing, you don't like feel like an investigator.
Or it's LA Noire where I went down the list of every name till they were like, that's the name. I was like, yeah, it is. You're goddamn right it is.
I'm
I knew
such a
it.
detective.
So I wanted to, put that alongside Skyrim and Civilization 5 in terms of just like, here is the broad diversity of gaming sampled. Like, you read this book, you're going to see that there's just like so many awesome things about games.
What were the controversial picks that you put on the
Well,
list?
I haven't like received the book is out now. It came out on Tuesday the 24th, the physical copy. I haven't received a deluge yet of like, why isn't it on there? But I did put my Twitter handle in the book, like reach out to me. Like, let's talk about stuff that's in there or not in there. I don't know if I anticipate. Okay, so I was talking with some of my former coworkers on the reviews team at GameSpot, Kevin Van Ord, Tom McShay, Carolyn Pettit. And I was like, I'm putting a God of War in there. And they were like, God of War 2 sounds great. But I put God of War 3.
Nice.
Much to their consternation. But like, I felt like, that's a new the next console generation. The spectacle of that series is a lot about it, So like, I was having these arguments with myself, making it like, okay, what is the person on Twitter going to say? What, when I talk to Colin about it, what is he going to come at me with? Like, I cannot believe that you put such and such game on there. So I did that to an extent, but also had to just be like, look, this is going to be fun to read. It's going to be fun to read about great games. It's not comprehensive. That is impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what I'm curious, I have a few questions. What is the oldest game on the list?
The oldest game on the list is Tetris.
And what is the platform distribution? Do you touch like everything from Tetris, so like NES era through Genesis, Super Nintendo, and then all the way up till PS4 and Xbox One? Or
Yeah, so there's not a ton of Genesis, Super Nintendo stuff. Like I also was kind of had in mind like accessibility. Like, not every game I write about needs to be like downloadable from Steam or something like that, but I want it to be kind of reasonably plausible that people were going to get access to it. So like I didn't put Dreamcast games on there, but that's also because I don't like personally have a ton of experience with Dreamcast. So that also sort of fed into it. But yeah, there's like, there's Super Mario World and there's Super Metroid and Mega Man 2 from that era. But then also, stuff like Super Meat Boy. So like I'm looking at, platformers like Sonic that I like really enjoyed on the Genesis when I was a kid, but like, all right, what was cool about that game? Like fast platforming, and like Super Meat Boy does like precision fast platforming incredibly well. That fills this niche really well. I don't need to, go into the past to pull something from that. I try to cover my bases. I had this like Excel spreadsheet with like all these different attributes in different columns listed about the games, just to try to make sure the net was covered to some degree.
Did you talk to anyone? Like, was it just you coming up with this, or did you kind of go back and forth with some people?
I came up with like maybe 80%. I've had the list, and then I was like, oh crap, I only have like 10 slots left, and so I started asking people, my friends I mentioned earlier, some of my good friends who still do play games passionately, like, what would you want to see on the list? I didn't like take to Twitter and ask or anything, but I did, do research and peruse, like, all right, what games am I forgetting? What genres am I trying, like, not representing? So yeah, it was mostly me, but I mean, and I made the final decision on all of it because what I had to submit to the publisher was the table of contents and then 300 words on each game, and then they sort of populated the book with all these nice screenshots. I was hoping to have a copy here today, but there was some shipping goofs.
God dang it,
Goofs out there in the shipping verse, but yeah. Yeah, it was really fun to kind of like, yeah, because like I found myself writing about these games, and I'm like, okay, yeah, let me write about like Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, which is a game that like really moved me personally. But then write about Skyrim and like writing about that game, and there's been so much said about it. So many books, blogs, videos, whatever written about it. But writing about it again, it sort of resonated with me. Like, oh right, this is a game that people take for granted as one of the best games ever, but like actually writing about why it is the best. Like I felt myself getting hyped for these games as I'm typing them up. And I like tried to put that into the writing too. Cause like, I want you to read a passage on a game and get hyped for it. Even if, you've played it before or if you've never heard of it.
Good way to be.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any questions, Portillo?
I mean, my yeah, it's interesting. I guess for for me, when we were at IGN and we would do lists, it was always the thing I hated the most. Because it would inevitably be us locked in a room. Colin and I would barter and trade down to get the list to where it is. And then we'd bring in other people and they'd be like, what about this game? What about that game? And I guess the argument was always, well, we didn't play that, so we can't back it or whatever. You know what I mean? But like I said, when it's just your list, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, when it's your list, like the buck stops here. I didn't put this one on there because I had some reasons, or because it just filled up. I don't know. There's no sort of like there's no consensus that needed to happen. And so I think that like, yeah, people are gonna have fun seeing what I chose, and they're also gonna have fun writing me on Twitter and being like, you son of a bitch.
Is there a ranking to it, or is it just 100?
So I wrote in the forward that like I chose 50, and narrowing that list down was hard enough. I could not rank top
That's
1
smart.
through 50. So I literally I chose Spelunky first because that's like probably my all-time favorite.
That's
game.
what jumped into mind when you got the book. Like, I'm making this, and Spelunky's on it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Spelunky I was like that has to be on there because
You can go for it.
Spelunky's incredible. So I put that first, and then literally Googled number randomizer, and then randomize the rest of the list, and that's the order of the book. But yeah, there's extra little bells and whistles in there. There's a forward from Craig Skistimus from Screw Attack,
We know him.
who I like collaborated with on it a little bit, and then there's like a list at the end of the book of all the games with like 5 stars, and like rate it yourself, keep track of the ones you've played and
that's really
ones you
cool.
haven't played. There's a little history of gaming with some like Wikipedia facts and stuff like that in there. Yeah. So it's a fun little, I think it's a fun little like gift book. It's a fun little holiday thing. And it's just kind of a neat like survey of like, yeah, like video games are really, really great. And I wanted it to, be accessible to people as well. So
How cool is it to know you're gonna have a book in bookstores?
it's it's pretty cool. I mean, I have some experience. Like, I don't know if you guys know that I like my face is in Target a little bit.
Oh, I've seen you. I've tweeted
I think
tweeted you some pictures.
Some
just like,
selfies.
have you guys seen this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just hear Chris's voice. I'm like, what the hell's happening? I look over and it's just like the little screens. It's like, you should buy Wii U. I'm like, okay.
Should you?
I never said that. But like, so I have some experience of people like tweeting pictures of me in a store at me, but like, that's like a short video we did through GameSpot. But this is like something that I made, I
is
wrote,
you,
I
yeah,
like
yeah.
totally, and like, I'm like reading through, and it's like, yeah, I did a good job with this, and so yeah, I'm super excited.
Was it
It's
hard
really
to
exciting.
balance your time? You know what I mean? Like we know the life of having a 9 to 5, then coming home to work on a passion project, but ours was yelling at a camera and then we edited or whatever. I feel like a book and going back and forth with the publisher and doing all this different legwork and trying to pick your list, did it like consume everything for a while?
It did for a while, yeah. It was actually a really short turnaround. I started at the beginning of August, and I had to submit my draft by like Labor Day weekend.
Oh, wow.
So that's like 5 weeks I had. So I literally like penciled out a calendar and was like, okay. So like Tuesday night, I come home. We have to go to the grocery store. I can't work that night. Wednesday night, I can write 2 to 3. And like I'm working with my wife to like clear up our schedule.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
need this Saturday. I can write like 7 to 9, depending on how it goes on Saturday. So I had to rigorously schedule it. And I was talking with another friend of mine, Laura Parker, who's an author and writes for a bunch of outlets, the New Yorker, New York Times and stuff. And she was writing a book herself, and she was just like, how do you have any sort of how do you marshal your thoughts? How do you start in on a book? It was a little easier because this is like a very clearly formatted, like I can write one, I can get it done in a night, and I can have that ticked off. I don't have to like structure a chapter or something like that. So that definitely helped with the quick turnaround. But yeah, it consumed a lot of my life for a very brief amount of time. And then like, okay, now I'm just going to wait. And then here's the final proof edit. Oh my God, I have to spend all weekend looking at this thing and fixing errors. Okay, and then it's gone. You're just going to wait to hear from us. And now it's sort of book tour, like go around and promote it, and then I don't know what's gonna happen after that.
Where else are you going on the Today Show? It seems like when people have books, they go on the Today Show.
I feel like I should get some CBS leverage here, but
Right?
but it's like a separate thing. It's separate from the work endeavor. Like you guys know, personal projects sometimes have to be. So I did another podcast with some friends, Video Game Apocalypse last night. Gonna go on some more podcasts in the coming weeks.
Cool.
So yeah. the gamer's bucket list.
It's exciting, and the link's in the below.
Definitely check it out.
Oh, you're putting the graphic back up too.
Yeah, can you do that, Kevin?
I love the
get it.
graphic, the hand gestures.
It just slides on in.
And thank you guys for having me on to talk about it. I
Oh
really
my gosh!
appreciate it.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's huge news.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm excited to look at it. I really do love lists, so I'm excited to break it down.
I can't wait to hear
and
from
disagree
you.
with you because that's the best part of
That's
this.
going to happen. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this topic brought to you by tipsyelves.com. If you need a holiday sweater, an ugly Christmas sweater, you should definitely go there. Kevin, sweater me.
Oh Lord Almighty!
All right, so this sweater.
Only Kevin would mess up tossing in a sweater.
Whoa!
Only Kevin would mess up
Oh my
tossing in a
God,
sweater
Kevin.
and then almost tear it apart.
Oh God, can you do something with that, Kevin? So this is the one that they sent Nick. No, this is Greg. Greg Miller.
I get to wear this
You
thing.
get
The Santa.
the sexy
Centaur?
sexy Santa centaur.
Look at that
Oh,
six-pack.
Thank you.
So that's yours.
Should I put it
And
on?
then- no,
Just hold it up.
just hold it. People know.
The red hooves are a nice touch.
Yeah, they are. They are.
This one here is Nick's, the Feliz Navidad, which might be my favorite. Can you hold this, Chris?
Damn, that seemed real genuine. Good work. Kevin was
Seems
definitely
real
amused.
genuine.
It was like legit.
This one-
He
this is-
legit cracked him up. He
This
didn't
is
see it until
Colin's.
now.
Colin's amazing Ninja Turtle style gingerbread cookies.
These are heavy,
Yeah.
like, thick
No,
sweaters.
real
Real sweaters.
Yeah.
Here's
nice.
my beautiful, beautiful reindeers getting it on shirt. So me. So yeah, if you want these shirts or a way bunch of other ones, you should go to tipsyelves.com. You can get 20% off the entire site if you use the code Kinda Funny Games. It's going to be a good time for everybody. They have a whole bunch of stuff. They have like college, like collegiate shirts and stuff too. They also have like themed.
What does that mean?
Like, I don't
Like
know.
Mizzou shirts?
Yeah.
Can I get a Mizzou shirt there?
I don't know about Mizzou, but like there's definitely like college shirts. You should check it out.
They don't want to be wearing Mizzou shit anymore.
A lot of people are.
Yeah, go to-
Students are. We're bringing it. We're taking
They're
it
on
back.
Shark Tank.
Oh,
Tipsy Elves.
cool.
Yeah.
I love Shark Tank.
I'm
Go
out.
check them
I'm
out.
out.
Tipsyelves.com. Use the promo code Kinda Funny Games. It'll be fun. Let me know what you buy.
Did they
Look
did they succeed on Shark Tank? Is this are we by promoting these? Are we kind of promoting Mr. Wonderful?
Yes.
Wow.
Feels
Watch
good,
Shark Tank?
doesn't it?
Shark
no,
Tank's a good
not
show.
at
Oh,
all.
Shark Tank's great.
I've seen it's the Mark Cuban is on there,
Yeah.
and he tells people about how much money he wants to give them or
yeah,
not.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a wonderful show.
I'll give you $10,000 for 5% of your business.